bet that's better. Okay, hopefully now people are hearing us. I guess we'll see. I should ask my wife. All right, so perfect. Here we go. So what we are talking about is how to recruit parent volunteers for your pack. Is this something anybody else struggles with?
Yep.
Feel like that's a fairly universal thing. So that's why we always have one of these every year. It's a good thing to talk about. It's a good thing to get feedback from other folks in other units, see what works for them. What I have is I've got QR codes on all of these. This one takes you to a couple of pages of notes. If you're interested, that's kind of runs you through some of that stuff, just so you can read that at your leisure. But essentially what we're talking about is if you want to recruit adult leaders, a couple of big things. For one, a new member coordinator is really important because as you welcome new people into your pack, that's a big key to making sure that they feel like they're tied in, that they know who to go to with their questions. And if they feel like somebody is there to help them, they're more likely to feel like they might want to help out, right? So if somebody comes in and they're overwhelmed, they don't know what's going on, everybody's using a lot of acronyms. Hi.
Hello.
And they're super confused, it's going to be really hard to volunteer, right? They're going to feel like they're overwhelmed right out of the gate. So the more that you can help them with that onboarding process, the easier it is to then get them to transition into helping you out. So a couple things, there's notes in here as well for sure, but one of the other things that we want to talk about is it takes a plan. So usually if you have a fall recruiting event for your unit, then 7 to 10 days after that is when you would want to do a parent orientation, right? So you have hopefully a whole bunch of people sign up at your recruiting event, and then you get them in there and you say, all right, let's talk about what all this stuff means, what the pack structure is, what is a den, what is a pack, all those kinds of things. And then that's also where you can ask for help. So that's a big key that I think people miss out on is you have to tell people what you need. So a lot of times, some of us will just toil in silence forever and hope that somebody will see us struggling and then offer to help. You actually have to ask for help. Because one of the things that we've seen, I know Donna, you've seen this where, Donna's one of my den leaders, so that's why I'm picking on her. But what you'll see is there's a lot of parents kind of standing around like, should I, shouldn't I, at your den meetings, right? And then if you don't give them a specific task, a lot of times they end up sitting there on their phone, right? Because they don't know what to do. The thing I hear, I don't know how many times, is I didn't want to step on anybody's toes. So if they feel like they would like to help, but they don't know how to help. And so give them simple tasks. Somebody's on their phone, you can be like, oh, hey, great, you got a phone. Can you take some pictures for us? Right? Like, give them simple stuff. One of the things that we always talk about is tasks, not titles. So if you've got people who you're struggling to get folks signed up for whole jobs, ask them for tasks, right? Say, hey, could you bring ice to the picnic? That's a little job, right? Somebody can do that. So that's kind of what we talk about. You want to have a clearly defined ask. People are really hesitant to take on a nebulous, open-ended job where they have unknown levels of responsibility for an unknown period of time. That feels terrifying. And so if you can give them something that's a little more well-defined, then that'll help too. Some people you may have somebody who jumps in there. I had a guy who showed up to a meeting and he was like, how do I register? And I was like, hi, I'm Jared. We've never met before. And you get some people like that because they're Eagle Scouts and they've been a Scoutmaster and they've been a Cub Master and they know they want to help and they know what to do. So sometimes you get them. But for a lot of people, you got to ease them into it. You got to help them understand what you're looking for. All right. So yeah, I can run through more of this stuff. Does anybody have questions or comments or thoughts?
Like a comment. Jared, how did you get the job you're doing right now?
I was asked to be a co-committee chair, and then my co-committee chair took on a new job and had to start traveling.
But
Then
how
I
did you
became,
get this job.
which job? This job? Oh, I was like, which job of my jobs? This job, I think Paytosh asked me?
So, if you come up to somebody and you see somebody in your pack, one of the family members or whatever, you come up to them and say, Jared, how would you like to be? Because if you approach them face to face and ask them personally, you're gonna get a better response than if you just say, hey, who wants to take over Jared's job? He's looking to step away. Everybody's gonna go, oh no. But if I come up and say, you ever thought about being the Cub Master? Yeah. You know, coming up here and stepping up and being part of the district, if you personally do that, odds are you're gonna get somebody to respond. And I bring part of that up. Jared's been doing this for about 4 years, right? He gets about 4 years now.
I have no idea.
It all just blends together.
It does, it does. And I did the same thing. I've been on staff for the Roundtable for 20 years. I enjoy it. I've stayed with the Cub Scouts. I enjoy that part. But we're always looking for people that, ooh, you're new. What do you think? Can you do this? And, you know, I went up and personally asked people, hey, we're looking for people to staff the Lou. Jumped all over. You know, we get, you know, so if you personally ask somebody face to face in a small group, you're gonna get a better response than if you just say, hey, who wants to do this? Everybody's gonna look at you like, nope, not gonna do it. But if you personally ask them, go up to them face to face, odds are you're gonna get a better response.
Particularly if you know them a little bit and you kind of know what sort of person they are, what their interests are. One of my things that I always talk about is there's two types of Cub leaders. There's your spreadsheet leader and there's your rolling around on the ground making funny noises leader, right? You need both. And if you approach a spreadsheet person and ask them to roll around on the ground and make funny noises, they're going to be very uncomfortable. They're not going to want to do that. And if you ask a rolling around on the ground making funny noises person to do spreadsheets, they're going to be very uncomfortable. They do not want to do that. So finding getting to know them a little bit and getting a feel for what kind of person they are, what sort of things they're interested in. We just had our parent orientation on Monday, and we were looking for a couple of people to step up to help with PAC training, the newsletter. We're looking for a new secretary, so we had a handful of things we were asking for. And this one couple was like, we'll do that, and they're very happy because those are very spreadsheety kind of jobs, and they are spreadsheety kind of people. And so having that as a match was like perfect. Because I spent an hour on the phone with a guy, and we were getting excited about scout book reporting. Like, if you find somebody who likes that stuff, they're gonna do great. So that's what you want to do, is you want to find somebody who's going to be interested. That doesn't mean you can't nudge somebody a little bit to challenge them once you know them a little better. So if somebody's been doing one kind of a job and you want them to do something else, you want to have a challenge, you want to nudge them a little bit to take on something that maybe is outside their comfort zone, you can totally do that. But you kind of have to have some money in the bank with them. Like they have to have some trust with you. You have to know what you're asking them to do. We've had that happen a bunch, and it's paid off huge because people a lot of times will rise to that challenge. So it kind of depends on how well you know them, how long they've been in your pack, what they're looking to do, all that kind of stuff.
And Jared, I think scoping the ask, maybe you mentioned that. But for me, like when
Yeah.
you asked me to do stuff, but I didn't know the scope. So
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know what you're asking me to do kind of thing, because I didn't know what it really meant. Because
For
a
sure.
name, a title of something, I was new to scouting, so it really meant nothing to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, scoping it would be helpful.
So actually, to that, we have some position description cards that I put together a few years ago. If you are interested, grab these. I wrote descriptions based on the descriptions that were in the handbook. This was a few years ago. It was probably different now. But this at least gets you started. So it tells you what is a den leader, what are the responsibilities of a den leader. So if you're looking for something like this, what you can do is you can take this thing, you can print it out, cut them apart, and then you post these up on a board, and they have the title, and then on the back of it, it has the description, like whatever that job looks like. And I would highly recommend like modifying them to fit, because every pack is different, right? So some packs, maybe your Cub Master just is your MC for your large pack meetings, and pretty much everything else is taken care of. Maybe your Cub Master does a lot of stuff, and so you want to make sure that you're being honest with people. If you're asking them to do a fairly limited job, and you get scope creep, and it keeps growing and growing and growing, they didn't sign up for that. That's not fair to them. So make sure if you're asking somebody to do something that, you know, if you're going to keep asking, make sure it's not just assumed. You don't want to take people for granted. So let's see. So this was another thing that I wanted to share too. There's a video from the National Training Organization that's how to get parents involved, right? There's some really good stuff in there. Some of the stuff that I have in my notes comes directly from that video. I think it's like 10 minutes long, but there's some really good stuff in there, so I highly recommend watching that as well. That's where they talk about tasks, not titles. So if you can focus on that just as your first step, that helps. Some of the other things that we do in my pack, we have 2 to 3 to 4 den leaders per den, because I can get somebody to take 3 or 4 half jobs more easily than I can get them to take 1 full job. So if somebody feels like they're alone and all the responsibility is on them, if my kid gets sick, I have to cancel meetings. If I have to travel for work, I have to cancel meetings. That's a lot. But if they've got a team, 2 to 3 people, then it feels easier, right? It feels like, okay, well, I got some people. If I have to step back for a week, they can step up, right? That's how it works for you guys, I know, when
Yeah.
somebody's traveling.
Yeah, that works out really, really well. And we also have that balance of, I'm more of the spreadsheet gal, and
Right.
Eric's more the roll around on the floor guy, and so that works out really well.
So I love that too. If you can, get at least 1 spreadsheet leader and 1 funny noises leader for your dens. And it may sound like, I know a lot of people struggle to just get 1 den leader. I think you might have more luck than you'd think if you look to put teams. So it's hard to get 1 person to take on that whole role, but if you ask multiple people, we've had such great luck with that, just across the board for almost everything. I don't think I've got 1 person in a job almost anywhere in a pack. It's almost always at least 2. And a lot of times it's like somebody has half this job, half this job, half of this job. So everything, you know, like they're mix and match. So it's not like we got, whole person or 2 people who are only doing 1 thing. Everybody's doing a bunch, obviously, but that makes a big difference for us. Is just setting it up so that people don't feel like they're alone. You get that team mentality going.
So what works a little bit with especially the younger groups, your Lions and Tigers, is you've got brand new parents who've never been in scouting most likely. If you can get them and convince them, hey, I need you for November, I need you for December, I need you for January, and give them the task of doing the meeting for whatever they're gonna do in November, and then you get December and you got January, figure out exactly what you're gonna do. And it works well in the Lions and Tigers because parents have to be there. They don't have a choice, they have to be at the den meetings. So keep them involved the whole time they're at the den meetings and at the pack meetings too. But get them, give them a task for, hey, you're doing the November meeting, this is what I need you to do for that November meeting for the Lions.
It's easier than ever with
Yeah.
the online resources. You just
Right.
snap the QR code and send them a link or something like that, and say, hey, here's the
Gives
whole
you the handouts
plan.
and everything.
Yeah, they even have the cards now. They were talking about doing the cards. I haven't seen those, but I guess those are out.
They're supposed to be out now.
Yeah, I'll have to pick up a whole bunch of them, shuffle them together, go nuts. So,
Do you have a question? You kind of were raising.
I think it was
nice. So something else that I was talking about too is pack culture. It takes a long time to turn around a culture. If you've got a culture where a bunch of parents don't want to volunteer. They're used to showing up and the same handful of people do everything forever. The parents get really used to that. And then it's really hard. When I took over originally as committee chair and then as Cub Master for my pack, we had that. We had a couple of people who basically did absolutely everything in the pack and they left. Everybody was still used to somebody else does everything, right? And it took 3 or 4 years probably to get to the point where now we've got 20 some leaders, because it took a really long time and it was mostly new people coming in. So there were a lot of those folks who were there when I started with my son who was a Tiger, who by the time their kids crossed over and were out, they still never took a job, never volunteered for stuff. Like they still just had that mentality. So sometimes it just takes a while to change that culture. You just kind of have to work with your new folks, bring them in, and you're establishing that with them. You're establishing that expectation that like, we're all volunteers, nobody's getting paid here. If you want a great program, everybody has to pitch in.
Really quick question. So
Yeah.
there's to become a leader, you must pay a due, right?
Mhm.
Does that mean like 20 of your parents pay to be a
Yeah.
leader? So that's
Yeah, and we offer reimbursement for that, but I don't think anybody takes us up on it.
yeah.
So
What?
we've recruited half the town this year.
Nice.
And for every like 5 or 6 scouts you recruit, you get a
Yeah.
so that's we've registered I think 4 new leaders this year
That's awesome.
and covered their dues
Yeah.
because of
District
recruitment.
program.
Yeah.
And there's one for free regardless,
Yeah.
and then there's another one for every 6
Every
kids you
six.
register, you get another free one.
Which makes sense, but if you want half your parents to be leaders, then
Yeah.
the next year they won't get it free.
We offered, I have, I think 5 or 6 parents that have multiple kids in the pack.
Yeah.
And I said, I'll cover your dues if you're a leader. If you've got 2 kids here, I need you to be a leader, but I'll pay for it, or the pack will pay for it, right? So that's helped a lot too.
Yeah, we pay for our adult leaders, but at a certain point, there's a budget.
Yeah.
So,
And so the thing is though, if you end up with so many volunteers that you're breaking your budget,
yeah.
your budget's gonna get bigger because your pack's gonna get bigger because you're gonna have, you know what I mean? Like everything's kind of gonna grow with it. Is what we've seen is that it's hard to grow a struggling unit if you get a lot of help from your parents
Yeah.
and it looks fun and it looks easy, then people want to be on a winning team, and so that helps too. Is like if you can get more volunteers where nobody's stressing out, the meetings are fun, you don't have people burnt out like losing their minds, then that's, I think it makes it easier to recruit too. People come in and see it, pretty,
It's a happy pack.
yeah, if it's happy, if it runs pretty smooth, it looks like everybody's involved, like people want to be part of that. So you get there, it's
Yeah.
good. It's just, you got to get there. It takes
I think we have a happy pack with only very few people doing it. Like we have almost 70 scouts, right?
Yeah.
But like a handful of people doing all of the work.
It's not tiring at all. It's not tiring at all.
Not at all, Steven.
It's fine.
He's one of
I'm
the
not
few.
gonna sleep tonight. It's
My
fine.
wife's one of the few.
Yeah. That's where we were. Like when I first took over, I was committee chair. I was functionally Cub Master. I was den leader for 3 dens. I was popcorn colonel. I was treasurer. Like I was everything.
Yeah.
It
You
was,
still do a lot.
it's true. I do a lot less, but yeah. But like that was it, and that was during COVID, and it was just like grind through it, and you don't sleep, and you just keep it going by force of will. It was but it worked, and then we got through it, and that building that culture paid off huge. So I think, you guys have such a successful pack already that like, if you can work on getting more people and it takes more of the load off of you.
Okay.
One of the things too that's great is like, if you're just hanging on by your fingernails, because like, does everybody know the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland?
Yeah.
You have to run as fast as you can just to keep up. So if you feel like that, if you feel like you're maxed out just keeping up, there's no room to improve or to think about like, what do we want to change, or how can we fix this stuff or anything else? Like, you're just doing everything you can just to keep up. If you get more help, then it lets you start thinking about like, well, what do we want to do? Like, what's our dream of an event that we want to run, or like what would make our lives easier? Right now, we've got some leaders who are working on some really cool stuff with a den leader retreat to get all of our den leaders together to do a planning session, so that we've got a whole bunch of families that have multiple kids in different dens. And so having all of our den leaders together planning their den meetings, so that if you're off-site, everybody's off-site, or at least siblings are all off-site, so parents can go to one spot with their kids and don't have to split them. Like, that's huge. But if we were still back then where I was like, opening a book and being like, all right, kids, I guess this is what we're doing tonight. What do I have in my pockets that I can use to run this meeting? Like, you can't do that. You just don't have the bandwidth.
And we have den leaders for all the dens. We
Yeah.
have the same one for multiple, or we have multiple. So it's not like there's that. We don't have a location that could house all scouts. Like, that idea of having all den meetings at the same time and just going to the rooms, and that sounds really cool. If you have a giant space that
We had to move, because we had the same issue. We were at a cafeteria where
Oh God.
6 dens
It
with a
was
hard
chaos.
floor.
That sounds,
The sound
that sounds rough.
It was bad. It was bad for sure. We're in a great spot now. Now we're at Cimarron. But yeah, it took some work. But that's another thing too, where it's like, get a little more bandwidth, and you start thinking like, what's our pain point? If our pain point is a meeting space, let's put some time into that. But you don't have time if you're, if you're 4 people running a pack of 70 kids. You know what I mean? Like, it's just how it goes. There's only so much you can do. So, all right. Does anybody have questions, or what's worked well?
I have a question.
Yeah.
It's the big ugly banana,
Yeah.
popcorn kernel.
Yeah.
So effectively, there's like 3 of us really running popcorn this year.
Okay.
And because previously Val Mulheron, she did everything, and then when we took over, new leadership comes in. It's like, okay, we got to do this and this and this, and it is so much for one person. So obviously that's one of those situations where tasks, not titles.
Yeah.
But selling that even as a task is really hard, because
Yeah.
everybody sees how much effort, time, and energy goes into it, because it's excessive, right? And,
Yeah.
and it's way too much for one person for a pack of almost 70 kids,
For
right?
sure.
So in your experiences, like, do you have any pointers? Do you have one popcorn kernel? Do you have, like, what is that?
One thing to add, just really quick, is we do $60,000 worth of popcorn.
Yeah.
So it's not like
Yeah.
a small
No, I
like
got you.
20,000. It's we've already sold 20,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're same boat. We're
Right.
60
That-
plus kids, ran $60,000 worth of popcorn last year.
Mm-hmm.
We had a parent step up to take over this year. He kind of helped last year. So that's one of the things that we try to do is, for us, popcorn kernel, we ask them for 2 years, because their first year they're going to assist the previous kernel. Then they're going to do 1 year where they're kind of on, running the show, and then they have 1 year where they're teaching the next one. So if we can get 2 years out of them, if we can get them to commit, then we can get that cycle going where we have, you learn one, you do one, and then you teach one, right? So we had that work out pretty well for us. We also have lieutenant colonels. So people who have been popcorn colonel in the past help out. So they've got the experience. It's not on them, right? Like, they're not storing all the popcorn at their house usually. Sometimes they have to if somebody goes on vacation or whatever. But like, usually they're not storing the popcorn. They're not, calling to set up the storefronts or whatever else. But they're there to help out. And then you got a handful of people who will step up and say, okay, I can, we got a couple of different storefronts going today. Who can get the table on the popcorn to this one? Who can pick it up? Who can get the table on the popcorn to this one? Who can pick it up? And if you have a handful of people who can do that much, right? Because popcorn kernel, if they're doing everything, it is too much.
It's impossible.
It is
Yeah, it's
too
impossible. Yeah.
I did that. It was terrible. Cannot recommend it. So that's what I would say. Again, get more help. And it'll be easier to find a popcorn kernel if you have a team. Because if it feels like you're asking one person to do it all, who would sign up for that?
And that's what we've
right?
done this year. It's a
Yeah.
team of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, call them lieutenant colonels. That's adorable.
So do you guys just do storefronts then?
Yeah, we have 8 storefronts going for 3 weekends in a row, and so
You guys like sprint September?
yeah,
That's what we do too.
Yeah.
there was somebody who sprinted like the week before us, so we're
So now we're
struggling a
fighting
little.
that. So we're like wagon sales, get out there, go sell this.
So when I ran it, we ran into November because again it was during COVID. We couldn't get in with
Right.
with King Supers. They would they shut us down. So then we were at like all these JV team like
Mm-hmm.
Murdoch's and
Yeah.
Sportsman's Warehouse and stuff like that. And like you're making $50 to $100 an hour or whatever. Like it's not great. So we had to carry through to hit our goal.
To sell the $50,000 of the popcorn you have in your garage.
It's still there, isn't it? I know it is.
Just keep eating it.
We have it all in our bedroom. My wife wakes up every morning, looks at that pot.
Trick people, bring them in on a yard sale.
But that's what's also hard about like having Cub Scout extravaganza during popcorn season, because we can't have any of our scouts go to that, or else we couldn't sell our popcorn.
We struggle with that, and that's one of the things. So we've started to try to diversify our fundraising to take some of the weight off of popcorn. Because like last year we sold 60K, but like we had a handful of kids who were doing 20 some storefronts. Like they were just crazy. They're awesome, but their kids love it. My kids, it is like the entire storefront region is lava and they want to be nowhere near it. And that's how it's been since we started.
Right.
They hate it. They don't want to be there, and it's just a struggle every time. Some kids absolutely love it and can't wait to get out there. And it's like awesome. Get out there, do whatever you can do. We've got parents who do all kinds of stuff because their kids want to be there. But this year we're thinking we probably aren't going to hit that 60 again. But now we're trying to diversify because we don't want to have such a huge load on there that we can't do anything fun in September. Like September is kind of your last
It's
month to
washed.
do fun stuff
Yeah.
before the weather's probably going to turn on you. So we're actually doing our family camp this the last weekend of September. We're going up to Tumbleson this year, and so we knew we were going to be on a short month. And then we also have, other stuff going on. We had a couple of leaders at Wood Badge this fall. We had a couple of people are going down to Extravaganza. So it's
Right.
so that's kind of what we're looking at. We're doing camp cards in the spring now. We do a Christmas tree thing, in the wintertime. We're looking at maybe doing flag placement on federal flag holidays. My son's troop does that, and we're thinking we might partner with them and do some of that too. Because if we can
Is that
find
in Parker?
yeah, for Parker. But if we can find other ways to bring some money into the pack, then you don't have to be so popcorn dominant, which it's fun when you can, but yeah.
I'll ask the group, maybe especially, what's your name?
Luke.
Luke, Eric,
Nice to meet
good to meet you, man. Who does scout accounts versus just a pack account?
you. We do a all-pack account where we
Oh.
pay for every single thing the scouts do all year
Yeah.
long through popcorn.
Do your scouts also have an individual scout
No.
account? No. Okay.
Ours do. We do scout
Right,
accounts.
yeah.
We do. Yeah, we do a portion of scout accounts and a
Yeah.
portion of pack money.
Okay. That was a big conversation for us this year. We
Yeah.
had a parent meeting in the summer, and it was kind of raised like, well, why are we doling out so much into individual scout accounts, and the packs being left kind of high and dry by the end of the year, if we're also doing camp cards, and so we kind of made the decision to say popcorn is pack money, camp cards is how you build your scout account.
Okay.
So, and it breaks up that, you know, hey, fundraising at the beginning of the year so that we can have funds for a great year. You wanna build your individual scout account, we give you a separate opportunity for that later on down the road.
And our pack, there's really no reason to have a scout account, because from summer camp to every single event we do, the scout pays $0
Yeah.
towards any of it. So we've had 30 scouts go to Peaceful Valley for summer camp, and Popcorn paid
Yeah.
for all of it. And
And that's
so,
great, I just wanted
yeah.
to see, you
no,
know,
it's a good, yeah.
other
So-
people were doing.
That's kind of similar. We do a split. So Popcorn, they get a portion. The
Yeah.
pack gets a portion.
Yeah.
When we do our Christmas trees, that's all pack money. We use that to fund our scholarship fund. So for any families that need help, or we also pay for half of Wood Badge training for all of our leaders. So if anybody wants to go to Wood Badge, they can get half from the pack, and then usually you can get half from the council. So then, you know, ideally you go down there and pay nothing. So we kind of do that stuff where we're like, we get some pack money from Popcorn. All the pack money comes from trees, and then all the camp cards goes to the kids. Like the scouts, that goes directly to their account. So I think there's some value in the, you know, finding that. I definitely have some friends I've talked to who do the same thing you guys do, where it's just all the money comes in, the pack covers everything, and that's totally valid. Like,
Including Wood Badge.
yeah.
So it's-
Man, some of those they buy all kinds of stuff. They go and they do all their camp stuff. They get, you know, like new camp gear with their scout accounts, and they do all kinds of stuff. And like, it's cool that they get to do that.
That's true. They
All
could
the
spend it
money-
on things outside of events. They could buy sleeping bags and
Yeah.
whatever.
Which I mean, we have a fair amount of that. The other thing that we do too is we really encourage people to like build up a lot of money as a Cub if you work really hard.
Right.
And we're like, take that to the
Take
troop
that to
because
the
stuff
troop.
gets expensive.
Oh, I know.
So like, if you want to go to National Jamboree, I hope you sold a lot of popcorn.
Oh yeah,
as,
it's like
as a Tiger Scout.
it's like $3,000+
She's
so
a pro, man. Yeah, like earn it when you're cute. That's what I tell them.
that is a good call.
But yeah, but that's the other thing is like then, you know, some families, you know, like mom or dad works on the weekends, or, you know, single parent family and they got younger siblings or something, like it can be tough to you know, to really take advantage of the popcorn too. So I can see the benefit the other way
Yeah.
of just saying like all the money comes in. So you know, different packs have different ways of doing it, and as long as it works
Yeah.
works for you and your parents are happy and your leaders are happy, I think.
We've also lost people because of popcorn sales too,
Oh, okay.
right? Because it's not many, but there's some people that are just like, I don't want to participate. This is too much stress on me.
Yeah,
And then they go to another pack in the area. At least they stay in scouting,
that's
but
good.
but,
they just, do
you
you
know.
guys have like minimum requirements for popcorn?
yeah,
So we ask 2 shifts is kind of what we ask, but again, most of that money's going to them. So if they don't do it, it's not, you know, like we
Right.
ask them to, we're like, hey, this helps the pack too,
Yeah.
but it's, you know. But yeah, that's the other thing we do is for new families, we tell them like, if they're brand new, we're like, don't worry about popcorn this first year. We'll catch you next year if you guys want to earn some money for your scout account, hit camp cards. Because like, I know for us, when I first joined, I was like, I don't even know what a Cub Scout is. How am I going to go sell popcorn about it? Like that was a tough transition for me because I didn't scout as a kid. I had no idea.
it's
what
definitely
anything
stressful.
was.
It's the first they just joined in August,
Right.
and the first experience is sell popcorn.
Yeah, so we're real adamant about that. We're like, if you want to, you're welcome to, but you do not have to. Like, take this first year off, and then next year we'll catch up with you.
We
I
did.
was gonna s- oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, we actually are doing something new this year because I'm actually the colonel right now because we had someone do the popcorn, was a popcorn colonel for a very long time and then they left.
Yeah.
And we kind of did the same thing every year and we didn't really do much with it. And so we decided to set ourselves a very, basically double our goal. Also because I sat around here and I was like, you guys are selling how much in popcorn? I mean, we our goal was always like, oh, we're gonna sell $8,000. you know, and we did like 4 shifts or, you know, whatever. So we did absolutely nothing with popcorn. And so we decided to incentivize the kids and not like set them a goal like they had to earn it, but we're incentivizing the kids where if they reach this amount of money, they're gonna get to pie with whipped cream myself and the Cub Master in the face. So if they make $1,000 in popcorn, they get to pie me and the Cub Master in the face with whipped cream. And so then if we make our goal of $16,000 or more, they'll get to launch whipped cream pies at all the pack leadership.
Nice.
And then we're gonna have like a whole special event on it. So we're actually hoping, you know, because the kids are really incentivized. My son has already achieved pie status, and he's determined to earn more than 1 pie. And so the kids are actually really super motivated
Yeah.
on this, surprisingly. So we've already made $5,000 in like a week or so, and that's something we've never done.
Yeah,
So-
that's awesome.
I did.
Yeah.
Really cool.
So it's been really a really good incentive for us, but yeah, so it's been good, but yeah, I'm gonna be curious to see how well we do on this, you know.
We want pictures.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I do love that idea. I think if I could add a little bit more to it, just hear me out on that, on this suggestion.
Yeah.
The scouts that have already do like a halfway point,
Mhm.
and showing like, hey, this is the goal. Like you said, your kiddo's already there, like
Yeah.
pie status. That if you did like a quarter or like a halfway point and do a pie right there, would probably motivate the other kids. Like, I want to do that too. So
Yeah.
if I could add to that idea.
Yeah, what we thought we would do is actually use the district recruiting, because like a portion of the kids have already earned the Minecraft lights,
Oh, nice.
and everyone is already, you know, everybody, all the kids, you say Minecraft and, you know, everybody freaks out.
Son loses his
Um,
mind.
And so we are gonna distribute our first set of Minecraft lights and our first camp shovels, because we have also our kids have never achieved some of the goals of the things, and if we did, they always got it, like, they never got it in front of the pack. You know, they got it handed out, or it was, you know, like distributed afterwards, so there, you know, nobody ever got any praise for what they did. And so we're gonna actually give it out, you know, and be like, hey, and so all the kids are gonna get to see the Minecraft lights, and then they'll
Yeah.
be like, oh my god, I gotta go get Minecraft light, and you know, I gotta get the other stuff, and
We do a big recognition too.
Yeah.
We've kind of ramped that up over the years, where we do a popcorn celebration, and we always do it where we invite everybody, even if they didn't sell $1 of popcorn, like they're still welcome to come out. We usually get like on a Friday night, we get a cafeteria with a big screen. We project a movie up, and then bring whatever popcorn is left over that we want to eat up, and then, you know, I'll go to Business Costco and grab a, you know, pack of movie candy or whatever, and like we just make a big party out of it. But we hand out a certificate for everybody who got $1,000 or more, and then for our top 3 sellers, we do big trophies with, you know, like a popcorn bucket on the top. We used to just do medals, and then somebody was like, these kids are working really hard, we should probably do more. So we got, like, they got big trophies. We went nuts. It's like way bigger than what you get for the Pinewood Derby or whatever. So yeah, the kids were excited. All right, we got 5 minutes. So how's everybody feeling? Did we cover anything new? Does anybody have new ideas or new things to try? Does anybody still have questions? Does anybody have something that you've done that works really well that you want to share with everybody else?
For the popcorn selling thing, we're doing a mock-up at our next den meeting.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And for our kickoff, we have a display table of how a table should be set up at a
Nice.
storefront and explaining Trails End at that table.
Awesome.
So that
That's
has
cool.
actually encouraged not only just new parents, because you said take a, like, hey, we'll catch you next year, but has actually opened, when I opened up the floor, like, the hands go up like, all right, well, what's that app? Show them the app, show them
Yeah.
how to do it, and
We started doing that this year too,
yeah,
with the table and
Mhm.
you have the app open. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's super
Yep.
awesome.
yes.
We did our popcorn kickoff like the last week of August, you know. We required all, you know, returning scouts must attend popcorn kickoff, and it was a week before we could even pick up popcorn. And we came out of the gate as strong as I've ever seen with that, and, you know, with all the new parents and kids coming on this year, you know, 2-3 weeks down the road, they're like, how do I do this, you know, what's going on, because we're killing it. The thing we do every week is we have it's kind of a chart, we call it a pop-up and, pop-up, right, and clip-up, so all the kids have, their names on little clothesline clips, and there's tiers, right, so like $100, you're on the board, you know, then, you know, I think it's, you know, 200 to 499 is tier 1, 500 to, I think 1200 is tier 2, and they get progressively harder. But every week we go, okay, you know, so and so, here's 5 kids, come on up, you're on the board, and we have a little, you know, on the board prize bucket they get to pick from. And then, you know, week 2, hey, you know, these 5 kids are on the board, you know, these 4 you get to clip up, you know, and so it successfully, so you get more kids coming up, getting bigger and bigger prizes as we go on each week. We'll hit our goal this weekend and be done. It's awesome.
I love that, like, ongoing recognition
Yeah.
rather than like just at the end. I feel like that's pretty
And
pretty huge.
we're not calling out the folks that aren't doing anything, but those kids are sitting there going, how do I get on this freaking thing?
Yeah.
You have a picture of that?
My wife does. Because she runs it, so.
Yeah, because I think that would be kind of cool, because we have a little thermometer with like our pack goal, but we didn't think of like doing like individual kid goals.
Yeah,
That would be kind of cool.
we just recognize, you know, and we have, you know, a couple kids that are all-stars, they're, you know, gonna hit probably 3,000-4,000 this weekend. You know, their names are getting higher and more separated from that group, and we have, you know, legit bigger prizes. They're getting, you know, compasses, they're getting knot tying cards, they're getting emergency sleeping bags and stuff like that. You know, the kids that are in tier 1, tier 2 are getting bouncy balls and, you know, little fidget spinners and stuff like that. So you get, you know, better and better prizes as the week goes on, and more kids are like, how do I get that? What do I gotta do to get to the next tier? It's worked
That's
really
cool.
well, yeah.
I feel like too, a lot of the time, you know, the kids, for our kids, I feel like there's a disconnect because, you know, they can get an Amazon gift card at the end or whatever, but it's not really tangible. So like having something tangible for them that's, you know, along the way, I think that makes sense. So,
Yeah.
how do we feel about recruiting adult leaders aside from just our popcorn kernels, which I know is a major challenge? Something? Anything? Maybe?
I think the things you gave us were good
Okay.
tools to help us get better at doing that. I know there's just like a survey you can send out too, like to like
The parent town
yeah,
survey.
that will help you at the.
I believe. So if you go to the first one that I had up here,
Yeah, I took a
I must admit, I don't really like it, because I feel like half the things that are on it are really outdated. Because I mean, like, some of it was like, bring your antique car, you know, and talk about your antique car, or, you know, like, I don't know, like, I feel like I look at that list and I'm like, I don't necessarily want, because then, you know, half the
you can
things that are on
customize
this
it to
list.
so
and
Yeah.
and I think
Yeah.
that's what we ended up doing this year. I think kind of spontaneously, like all of our den leaders just made a scout info sheet with a family talent survey on the back of it. Like my wife started, and then I saw a bunch of them like that same first meeting. And I was like, oh, did you know all of these are different? I thought she sent it out to everybody, but they're all different. Everybody just made one. But yeah, like they just kind of made their own, and it was like, you know, here's the stuff that we're looking to do this year. Do you do any of that? because you know that's been a huge help too. Is if you can find something that somebody's passionate about, and ask them to come and help with it. That's super cool. Like we've got one of our parents who is really into biking. He loves BMX biking and everything else. And we've had him help with our bike rodeo. He helped with the district BMX track day. He's done a bunch of stuff, but like people are passionate about stuff. They want to share it. What's really cool is if you have somebody come in and share a thing that they love and then the scouts go nuts about it. Like that's really cool. So if somebody comes in, like we did a leatherworking thing at one of our camps, and then one of the kids spent like 3 hours using every leatherworking tool in the box, and then he had a leatherworking birthday party that year. And it was
awesome.
like that was the coolest thing. I was like, I didn't even know Tandy Leather did birthday parties, but apparently they do. And he had one. So, like, if you can tell people like. Bring your, whatever if you're passionate about antique cars, bring it in. Maybe one of the kids is going to be cool about it. Like, I don't know.
You can have like 3 different people come in about things they're like.
Right, yeah, whatever they're excited about. So, all right, we got to wrap it up here. So I'm gonna stop our streaming if I can figure out.
These will be really good.